Hello, Enrico. New day, new learning.
Ciao, Maci. What do you have for me today?
So it's a topic about managing your repo in a way that you maybe ever try or not. So I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna present you a tool which is named GitKraken. So this is the tool which hopefully will love working with your repositories. Let's give it a shot. So a quick presentation is this is how the tool looks like. It gives you some kind of visualization of your repo. I just downloaded Excalibur repo to make something more interesting than my personal ones. As you can see, this is like a timeline, interactive timeline on which you are seeing the most relevant, the most up-to-date commits on top. And on each commit, I can see something like, for example, who made it, who committed this. I also see all of the changes. I can see them in tree, so I see what changes were, or I can just choose this pub version, which is more flat, and then you see, okay, so what has been changed. This is my view, that there are different views, you can adjust this. From my view, I see what was there before, what is now. The green color means that something adds something here. The red one is that it was before, it has been changed now, so it's like a new line instead of this one. And it's pretty common to see these things. For example, also here, in the sidebar, you see where the changes were made. So that something changed here. You see this red square here, and also here something has been removed. If the new file has been created, you see this plus here. If something has been removed, you see this minus here. So basically, it's like a visualization of what happens, but you also see all of the branches which are there. You can also search for branches or other stuff or changes. So it's very common. You can just find a commit by description or whatever. But for me, the biggest benefit is you can just visualize your repo. So you see what happens there. For example, I downloaded this repo yesterday and immediately I see that, the new master is here. So I'm not up to date anymore. Something is changing on this repo all the time. So if this is the repo that you are working on every day, you are just starting your day and you see, okay, someone is working here on some branch, someone changes something, and it is you can also make it manually. So I can still click pull and this will fetch all of the changes, also rebase master for me. But also it happens kind of automatically. So if I'm here, all the changes online in some periods are just downloaded to me and I see what is changing online. To just check out to some branch, you can double click on it and I'm already there. I can also use my context menu to, for example, check out this simple commit, or I don't know, maybe reset my master to this commit, for example, or whatever. So let's try to make some changes first. I'm now on master. Also, I have this repo here, and let's have some fun. Okay, I need to install stuff because I just rebase on master. So yeah, let's do this. This is our browser. Let's have some fun and just let's start the things. Oh, here I have it. So let's run start. It should start Excalibur for us. By the way, for all juniors, if you are just starting your career, it's so good these days that you can just download some package, open source package from internet and just start it on your computer in 5 minutes or whatever, and you have just fully working application. You can take a look at the code, good practices, stuff like that. So I highly recommend this one. And okay, so this is my working application. Let's say that I want to change something. For example, I don't like this text. All your data is saved locally in your browser. Let's say that it should be with some exclamation mark. So it's now more powerful. All your data is saved locally in your browser, right? So in my repo, I already see, okay, there are some changes that you've made. You are here on this branch, but there are some changes that you've made, and that was this file. You just modified this text. It's good. Let's say that I want to stage these changes. I can just make it here, but let's change something else yet, maybe, to have more changes. So another thing I can adjust maybe is another text. Maybe let's add another question mark here. So now in our GitKraken, I can stage everything, but I can also stage only this line, for example, if I like, because I'm not sure about the second one. And so this is the thing that I staged. This is something I didn't stage yet. So it gives you on every layer much more power to decide, to see what you are doing. Let's say that I want to commit this one. I still didn't change any branch, so I'm on master, and let's create, I don't know, more powerful text on main. So I can create this branch, this commit. It happens locally. The other changes that I didn't stage are still here. Of course, I can. So I could theoretically push this, but since I am not a master of this repo, I will not do this. I mean, it will just say push failed to master because you don't have rights. Yes, I can create a pull request, whatever. But this is how it's working. Let's take a look at what next. So this was like the very basic operations you can do, like pull, stage, commit, push. Next thing are, what about undo, create branch, renaming, rebase? So I don't like what I did because I shouldn't probably merge anything to master like this. So let's make undo. This is something very powerful and handful if you are working with Git. So you can just undo your previous operation or couple operations. And now I'm again in the state when I have this changes stage, but this are not. And I can, for example, just open my context menu and create a separate branch for this. So create branch here. Let's say it's a new feature, more powerful text. Ta-da, I already have my branch. So now if I will commit the same changes that I had before, just call it feature, it's on a branch right now. So the stuff that we are doing every day, but it is just much more explicit here, seeing what you are doing. Also, if I, let's say, make a mistake, I can rename my branch to something different. Yeah, for example, like that. Or I can rename my commit. Everything is possible. Also, when I push changes, I don't have this origin here, as I said, I mean, right to the origin. But if you are pushing some changes, like, for example, renaming your commit, GitKraken will automatically ask you about forcing these changes to really change something in the repo. So it is pretty easy. Next stuff I want to show you is how to resolve conflicts, because this is like the very important part of our job. So let's say that I changed this text. Or maybe, okay, let's return to our master. So I'm now check out this branch. Okay, checkout failed. It already says, okay, what about the changes that you have there? You didn't decide what to do about that, and I don't want to drop these changes for you, so please let's decide. Let's say that I want to stash this, and now I can check out. So these changes are still safe. If I want them now on my master, I can just say pop. Okay, it's a conflict you should resolve, right? Because this something changed here for this data. So it shows me what's on master, what's on my side. I can decide, okay, I like this one, please save it. And now conflict resolved, I have my changes also here. I don't want this one anymore, so I can also say discard all changes. I don't have it. I also don't want this branch, so I can just click here and say delete this one, please. And now it is all deleted. I am on my master once again. I don't know whether it's not refreshing. Okay, sorry. I still have my stash here, so I can also delete the stash if I don't want to see this anymore. So I'm on my master once again. Let's now create something different. So in our Excalibur, let's modify how we are opening or actually closing our main menu. So we have something like click outside. Yeah. So on click outside right now, we are setting some upstate open menu null. So let's modify this a little and add something like, well, sorry, alert menu closed. So now whenever I just close this one, boom, menu closed. It's super, super feature. So let's one more time create a branch for it. I will call this temp, and let's make temp commit, stage everything, commit. Boom, we already have our changes somewhere. Now let's return to master branch once again. So nothing happened when I just close this. And now let's modify in a different way this one. So let's say I want to make another alert that, yeah, on click outside. Exactly. So now it is like much more about debugging purpose, but yeah, it's not the point. The point is, of course, that I want to show you how to use GitKraken effectively. So let's create another branch. It's temp2. I'm staging these changes. I'm putting this here. Ta-da! So we have two separate changes. And now let's say that I want to rebase this one on this one. I can just drag and drop it here. Or I can just say, okay, rebase me this one here. And it says, okay, it's a file conflict because, of course, you just modified the same function. So how can I resolve conflicts here? As you can see, I just clicked to resolve conflict, and now I can decide. And what I really like about GitKraken is like a separate tool which allows you to do this stuff. So for example, I can say, okay, this change was okay. Just keep it to me. It's good, right? Maybe this change was okay. So it's also okay. But very often it is like you need to combine different things. So what if I will say, okay, this line is okay, this line is also okay, this line is also okay, but actually I want to have two alerts. So also add line from here and maybe line from here. And this is like the final thing that we will have. It is very like easy to see what you are doing, and really you don't have all of this strange signs in your code. It's like you are just visually seeing what you are doing. But if you want to change something manually, for example, let's say that I only want to have one alert. Come on, like this and this, you can just do this here. And it says you, okay, so you choose this not. Also nothing from here, really. And then you just combine something on yourself. I'm good with that. This is what I want to have. Then, okay. Do you want to continue rebase now? You just resolve all of the conflicts? Yes, I want to continue. So now I'm there. And I see like the first change was here. So it was this one, menu close, but later I just rebase, and my second change is and on click outside, stuff like that. So that's it. This is how we are rebasing. Finally, I want to show you something like more fancy stuff, let's say. So for example, how to add tags. You can just create a tag here. This is super important. Ta-da! And you have a tag. You can see this here. If you want to create annotated tag, you can just create one here. If you want to cherry pick, this is very, very nice one. So let's return to this one. Let's say that I don't really like all of these changes, but I have like I created a couple changes here. I'm creating a new branch, Humphrey, and I only want the second change. So I can just click on it and say, cherry pick this commit for me. Do you immediately want to commit this one? Yeah, please. Then once again, I'm here. I'm just getting only this change. There are some conflicts to be resolved. Yeah, but I like this one. Yep, commit this one. And I already have, so I just get from this whole branch, I only get this commit, and I'm on a separate branch right now. So basically, you visually see way better what happens in your repo and what you can achieve. So what are the benefits? Once again, as I said, for me, it is like you have this visualization. If you are an experienced developer, I guess you really can use your Git tools in an efficient way. But still here, you will have this visualization. You see what other people are working on, if they are only creating branches and putting something into your repo. You can way easier search in your repo. You can use more complicated, stuff like that. It's a separate tool to deal with a specific problem. So you don't need to, I also can, for example, change something here, like console log, something more maybe. Also, there's like the missing space here. It's all good. I can still use, for example, my tool like Visual Studio Code or WebStorm or whatever. but then it is all in one thing. So very often you have like 10 files open, and later you are also clicking on something here, you're resolving conflicts. It is way easier to mix up everything. Here, I always, when I'm just finishing working, I'm just looking at GitKraken and I'm seeing, okay, what I really changed. So this is what I was working on. What are the changes? And very often I very clearly see, okay, come on, this is console log, which still is there. I really don't need this one. So let's return to the code and remove it, or just don't stage this one and drop it, whatever you want. You can also like, stage only this one, and so on and so forth. So this is like the clear visualization, and the separate tool for me, it's a very nice benefit to have. And this all results in less chance to make a mistake. Why is it good for juniors? Because someone can say, okay, but for juniors, it's like they should really learn Git first and later just use tools like this. It depends. For me, it's actually, these days we are much more learning about the mental model of everything. It's not like about the details. If you don't know any Git command, for example, if I will now ask you how to make cherry pick, you know what the cherry pick is? Probably you used this many times before, but do you really know like the very precise semantic how to use cherry pick? Probably not. You will need to Google this and make it like it will be like 5 minutes. You will probably do this, but if you are cherry picking, should you make like the first commit the one that you are getting, or the first branch you are getting, or stuff like this? And here you have just way better visualization about everything. So for me, it's like juniors can build a mental model of Git using tools like this. It's a more secure way of working with Git for them, because very often at the beginning you are just a little stressed. If I will not now commit something, will it just kill something? Or if I need to force some changes. In GitKraken, you are just seeing what's happening. And also you have this undo option, which will give you some kind of safety net. And it's also a chance to learn more about Git, because you are seeing what you are doing. The things are named the same. So for example, cherry pick is something that you don't know about, but you are searching, okay, for example, you want to move this commit to a different place, and you see, oh, this is rebase. Actually, this is what, I see that it's rebasing, right? You also can check all of the comments which happen when you are doing this stuff. So it's a good way to also learn more about a Git. Why is it good for more experienced one? I guess it speed up daily tasks. As I showed you, it is very easy and handy to create branches, commits, rebasing, stuff like this. It's also more confidence in complicated situations when you really messed up with something, or someone else messed up. For example, you have a junior and something strange happens in your repo, then you have more chance to visualize what happened and to just fix it. Should everyone use it? Definitely not. Like always, it is very questionable. I encourage everyone to try. It is free to use with public repos. Also, it is probably free to some degree. Later, it's like $4 per month, right now at least. This is probably also how I'm paying for this, like how much I'm paying for this. I recommend you to try and to see whether it also speed up your work.
Thank you, Maciej. This is great. I mean, you mentioned most of the point that I wanted to make. I think it's a good question that you make. I don't have answer. I still feel it's important for people to understand how Git work behind the curtain, and still understand that everything starts from the command line, especially for us as an engineer. But I do agree that it's also very practical to have this visual tool. And honestly, I was impressed because of the amount of flexibility that you have with this tool, like this drag and dropping, one merge request on top of the other, or one branch on top of the other, sorry. Like, it was insane. And I remember vividly one of my mentors saying that, with the command line, you're always going to be faster if you know how to use it. When I am seeing you using this, sometimes I wonder if that's really true. I like the cherry pick example. It doesn't really apply to me because that's something that I do remember, but if I have to do a different operation, I might have to look for. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think you said something I like, use a mix of both, right? Make sure that you do understand the command line, that you have a sense that you do understand where this thing come from for your training as an engineer. But then if you feel like that this tool is more practical, I mean, go ahead with it, right? At the end of the day, what it matters is for us to be bringing more value to our organizations and to deliver more and better code, not more in the sense of the quantity, but in the sense of the value and an impact. And if this is helping, go ahead with it. And I think I'm going to give it a try. I use everything in WebStorm generally. So WebStorm provide a smaller subset of the things that you showed. And I always been good with that, but I was impressed, honestly, by your presentation. So you put, something that I need to scratch off. So I need to download that. And wow, I love the new version of WebStorm. I didn't know that there was a new one. I'm downloading it right now. Thank you,
Actually,
Maciej.
it's a new graphic interface. I'm not whether you are using this, but it's like from a while, and you need to switch, I guess, intentionally for that. But try it as well.
Oh, please. Okay, cool. I need to try that. It's so cool.
Thank you, Enrico, and see you
Thank you,
next
my
time.
friend. Ciao.